He took the Stoic approach, and we were kind of like growing in our own paths of meditation. We also had used this app Calm as student athletes at Wake Forest. We had a free subscription to Calm, and we liked how they gave base meditations, base sleep stories, but nothing felt personally for me like what I was going through for the individual user. So long story short, Hampton transfers to Georgetown after sophomore year, and he's just growing tremendously. And he calls me and he says February, I say January of 2024. And he comes to me with the idea. He's like, Walker, I know what we're going to do after school. I was like, all right, what's that? He's like, we're going to create a meditation app that uses artificial intelligence the right way to give people personalized meditations, sleep stories, and then what we call meditation plans. But essentially the differentiating factor is the fact that you can get meditations for you that are catered individually for you, like on the spot for whatever you're going through. And that's really like the need that myself and Hampton had in that time when we didn't want to talk to somebody. Having a resource that could help us with our situation was instrumental. So right after that, we knew what we were going to do. We wrote up our vision board, and I really say life's all about relationships because it's so true. And I met so many people along the way and really formulated a beautiful team. A lot of things fell together, and that's where we are now.
But I am the world's biggest super fan.
You're like a super fan.
Welcome to the Business Superfans Podcast. We will discuss how establishing business superfans from customers, employees, and business partners can elevate your success exponentially. Learn why these advocates are a key factor to achieving excellence in the world of commerce. We discuss the invaluable insights of business owners who have successfully implemented the strategies in the book to build their own team of devoted superfans. Gain insightful knowledge from the experts who create applications that help you create passionate superfans. This is the Business Superfans Podcast with your host, Freddy D.
Freddy!
Today's guest is a powerhouse of leadership, innovation, and resilience. Wake Forest University student, athlete, and entrepreneur, Walker Ferguson. As a safety on the football team, he demonstrates the discipline and focus required to excel at the highest level of college sports. Off the field, he's the co-founder and president of Ascend Meditations, a cutting-edge wellness app that leverages AI to make meditation accessible and engaging for users worldwide. Balancing a rigorous athletic schedule while pursuing a degree in economics with a minor in communications, Walker brings a unique blend of determination, creativity, and business savvy to everything he does. With a background in real estate and an unwavering passion for personal growth, he's on a mission to transform how we approach mental well-being. Get ready to hear how he's building Ascend from the ground up, inspiring others to prioritize mindfulness and staying motivated on and off the gridiron.
Welcome, Walker, from Ascend Meditation to the Business Superfans Podcast. How are you this afternoon, Walker?
I'm doing great. I'm honored to be here.
We're excited to have you. So tell us a little bit about your story of where you came from and how did you come up with the idea of Ascend Meditation as an app and helping people deal with challenges and improve their sleep?
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm from Richmond, Virginia. Lived in the same house my whole life. And growing up, I played anything with the ball, football, baseball, basketball, lacrosse, like you name it. And then I got to high school, and then I kind of really just shifted towards football and lacrosse. Those are my main two sports. And, when COVID hit, ended up not playing lacrosse in college because roster spots went from like 12 to 4. So I kind of shifted my full focus towards football. When I ended up going to play football at Wake Forest, I'm still here now, senior, majoring in econ and minoring in comm. But that was like the greatest blessing in my life thus far. When I went to Wake, my freshman year roommate was Hampton Tanner, who's my business partner and co-founder. In the summer of 2021, we literally would just stay up so late at night, just bouncing ideas off each other, being like, do we want to do a brewery? Do we want to open a restaurant? Do we want to do this, right? And nothing ever stuck, but we knew we were going to do something together after school because of the synergy we had right away. Our moms were both realtors. Dads both came from farming families in the middle of nowhere, mine in Virginia, his in Georgia, and you just couldn't write it any better, right? So we get a sophomore year, and things really haven't changed. I'm still on scout team. He's the same way. Not traveling, not playing. Things on the home front were great and got out of a 4-year relationship. He was going through some things in his own life as well, and we were like at these low points together. But being able to take a step back and have this cultivation of like gratitude, just be like, wow, like I'm really playing like Division I football in the ACC at Wake Forest right now. Like it's a blessing in of itself. And that's kind of like when I learned how to breathe for the first time. It was either in the past, depression, the future anxiety, but I was never like really in the present moment. And that's when I learned how to meditate and the power of meditation. I'm a Christian guy too, so I would like meditate on scripture and really get in the word. He took the Stoic approach, and we were kind of like growing in our own paths of meditation. We also had used this app Calm as student athletes at Wake Forest. We had a free subscription to Calm, and we liked how they gave base meditations, base sleep stories, but nothing felt personally for me like what I was going through for the individual user. So long story short, Hampton transfers to Georgetown after sophomore year, and he's just growing tremendously. And he calls me and he says February, I say January of 2024. And he comes to me with the idea. He's like, Walker, I know what we're going to do after school. I was like, all right, what's that? He's like, we're going to create a meditation app that uses artificial intelligence the right way to give people personalized meditations, sleep stories, and what we call meditation plans. But essentially the differentiating factor is the fact that you can get meditations for you that are catered individually for you, like on the spot for whatever you're going through. And that's really like the need that myself and Hampton had in that time when we didn't want to talk to somebody. Having a resource that could help us with our situation was instrumental. So right after that, we knew what we were going to do. We wrote up our vision board, and I really say life's all about relationships because it's so true. And I met so many people along the way and really formulated a beautiful team. A lot of things fell together, and that's where we are now. We did our beta testing in September, and we got on the App Store on November 1st, and we're about a week and a half away from the Google Play Store. So that's how the idea formulated. It was from like a personal need, something that we were going through, some of the struggles we were going through in our lives, and like a solution that we were like, this would have really helped us in our time, and it's still helping us now as we're not student athletes anymore, but really to help student athletes and individuals with what they're going through with that time in their life.
So what is your target market? Primarily students or just anybody?
Yeah, so right now, that's a really good question. But we're really targeting student athletes to start. We're staying within our niche. We want to target universities and get partnerships with Wake Forest, Ball State, other schools that we have synergy with and we have like ins with. Because essentially we want the schools to basically pay for the app like Calm, like Wake does with Calm, and all student athletes get the app for free with their .edu email. So that's the plan now, is to target student athletes. And then once we dominate that market, then we want to branch on to help, as many people as we can, but we really want to stay specific to our niche. And I got a lot of advice early on through a startup accelerator we got accepted to. Shout out to Mike Bukovich and Stan Parker at Winston Starts, and through books I've been reading, some mentors. They were like, when you're starting off the ground, you really need to like hammer home your niche. Put all your marketing efforts and all your resources to dominating one market if that's the right market. And we conducted a lot of surveys to make sure that was the market that was the right, like essentially the right market that needed, that there was what I call the migraine problem, the problem we were solving, and then the solution we were offering, to making sure that's what customers actually wanted, which in this case were the student athletes, the high performers. So once we got those surveys back, that's where we pivoted. And then, to answer your question, really hammering home the niche of student athletes.
That's an important market that you're going after because they've got the pressure of playing the game. I grew up playing sports as well. And the pressure playing the game, peer pressure, then you've got pressure of studies and getting your grade and everything else. And then you also want to try to squeeze a life in there as well. So you got a multitude of things going on. Yeah, it can get overloaded. And sometimes people go down the wrong road to offload that overloadedness. So what you guys have done is you created a platform that people can offload some of that stress through something that's not going to be detrimental to them, but more importantly, more helpful to them.
100%. And the other feature too that I didn't really talk about too much is with the meditation plans, you can essentially put in a goal, right? So I could put in the app, I want to become a starter on my Wake Forest football team as a safety my senior year. I'm going to do this and this to achieve my goal. Obviously, the more specific you make it, the better your goal is going to be. But it'll actually break up a meditation plan for you to visualize your success. Because as athletes, high performers, everyone knows it all starts in the mind. And when you see it over and over again, that translates onto the field or into whatever industry you have, presentation, job interview, whatever it may be. And the meditation plan has been helpful for so many athletes because they can go through the specific steps, whatever their goal may be, and see themselves like hitting these strides and targets and seeing that success in the mind to translate that into reality to achieving their actual goal. So that's a really big feature that's really been helpful. So yes, to answer your question, it's great for mental health, stress reduction, but it's also great for achieving that goal, seeing yourself succeeding in the brain, in the mind, where it all starts.
Sure. I have a quote that I use is, to be terrific, you need to be specific. And if you're specific, you'll be terrific.
I love it. It's a great quote.
Thank you. So I came up with it. I was in a networking group, and it was like, okay, what's going to be my tagline here? And so I played with the words, because if you say it too fast, you mess it up.
Yeah. I love it.
All right, so let's talk about, how does the app work?
Yeah. So essentially, you open up the app, right? It will just tell you, exactly what we offer. Like basically what I just said, the personalized meditations that are on the go, catered to you, like for whatever you're going through. Kind of essentially like a chat GPT, you type it in, gives you the meditation. The sleep stories, which are like personal bedtime stories. And then the meditation plans, which I just explained, just tells you exactly what those are. After that, you're prompted to a quiz, like a personalization quiz when you open the app. Within that quiz, just give some base information like meditation experience, name, date of birth, what are your goals for the app? Is it improve focus, reduce stress, whatever that may be. So then when you open the app from there, you're prompted to a big blue button that says create meditation. So from there, you hit the button and then you're prompted to a box, right? So you can type in literally anything. Like I could say, I'm about to go on this podcast, a little nervous. Could you give me a meditation to help me calm down and perform my best? So like the voice of background, and it spits that meditation, and obviously a link for the meditation as well. And it spits that meditation for you out within 5 seconds. The background noise plays while the meditation gets created. And the key for that quiz that you took at the beginning is if you don't have anything on the top of your mind, based on the information you gave the quiz, it will give you tailored suggestions for a meditation. The process is very similar for the sleep stories. There's the separate page. It's a big blue button that says create story. Hit create story. You can give it a genre, theme, setting, and then key characters. I like to make myself the character of the story. Get your own personalized bedtime story. Same process, voice, background, length, and it plays out your bedtime story. And then the meditation plans is very similar. It's a separate page, and essentially just typing your goal as specific as you want to make it. Obviously, the more specific, the better. And then you just select what category that goal is for. Is that achievement? Is it mental health? There's a lot of other categories. Is it achievement? There's a lot of other categories where that goal is to be specific. And then after that, it just generates your plan within 5 to 10 minutes and breaks that up. And then you can go in and select each day, and it locks. So you have to complete the first phase of your plan before you can move to phase 3 or phase 2 and then phase 3. And then obviously there's a save your favorite meditation, save your favorite sleep stories, and then the ability to share with a friend. But that's essentially the core app.
You guys created that pretty quickly.
Yeah. It's all about the team. I can't preach you enough. You got to get the right people on the bus. When you get the right people on the bus starts rolling. And like I said, life's all about relationships, and met a lot of really good people along the way, and a really good development team that did an unbelievable job.
This show's all about is creating business super fans. And so what you've got sounds like you're a super fan of your team.
100%.
That's where the transformation takes place, because a lot of people, in business have the mindset that I'm giving you a job. You should be grateful I'm giving you that job. The reality is, no, that person's freeing you up to do other things. You should be grateful that you've gotten the right person on board to help you do the things that need to be done so you could be doing other things and scaling your business. I wrote a book called Creating Business Superfans, which is really about transforming what I call all stakeholders. So it starts with the mindset of the principals, but then you got your employees, you got your customers, you got your suppliers, you got your distributors, the whole ecosystem, complementary businesses and stuff like that. You've got to be able to engage all of that in a positive fashion so that they in turn start promoting your business.
Yeah, that's well said. You got to get the right people. Attitude, your attitude is always the best attitude.
Yep. Well, one of my quotes in the book is people will crawl through broken glass for appreciation and recognition.
Looks like I found my next book.
In sports, same thing. You can't just chastise the person. You also have to compliment them and, hey, great play, great run, and all that stuff. And okay, instead of chastising, let's, hey, if you would have done this and that, turned left and right. I played football for a little bit myself. Yeah. Nothing at the level you're at. We were just a bunch of guys on a Saturday and Sunday playing a two-hand touch league, so we would beat each other up a bit, but it was still a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's the best.
We all played offense and defense. My job was blocking our quarterback, and when it was the other way around, my job was to take out their quarterback, and I did my job very well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So brings back a lot of fun memories. We used to have a lot of fun. Never made it past the second playoff game. We always won the first one, but for whatever reason, we always crashed on a second playoff game. It was jinxed, I guess, whatever. Maybe we could have used the app back then.
Maybe.
Because it was always a jinx. We always, for several years we played, and we always made the first playoff It was back-to-back playoffs.
Yeah.
And we never won the second one.
The second round.
Yep. Never made it.
How many rounds were there?
2.
2. Oh, I gotcha.
But anyway, fun times. Yeah. So let's talk about, have you gotten some people that have actually provided feedback and in turn have become really what I would call a super fan of the app because it's actually helped transform their life? So can you share a story of how that may have transpired?
No, 100%. I'm reading this book right now called The Lean Startup, and it really talks about user retention rate and like really tracking that. And we're tracking that on Firebase right now. And once we got past the MVP and got on the App Store, we've seen the user retention rate come back, and it's around like 20% for the active users that are using it that are coming back daily, which is pretty good to see because that was significantly higher than the 1% we had before. But a specific example is on our Instagram, on our social medias, people that want to give a testimonial that are student athletes, they send us a video of like why they use the app, why they like it, how that's helping them. And we post that on our Instagram. So we have live testimonials of student athletes speaking. One that really is near and dear to my heart is one of my buddies, Jamal Banks. He played wide receiver in Nebraska, and he's about to go to the NFL. He's training right now for the NFL draft and the combine. And he just essentially just talks about in his video about how the meditation plans really help him, how he's able to visualize his success through different facets. And hearing that come from one of like my brothers, like truthfully, like one of my brothers, he played at Wake before he transferred to Nebraska, meant a lot to me because it showed that the product is actually like helping people. Because at the end of the day, for us, it was never about creating $1 billion company. It was about how can we change the lives of 1 billion people and help them live happier, healthier lives, right? So that was amazing in itself. Another one too that today, just because it's on the top of my mind, there was a former gymnast at Auburn named Morgan Oldham. She basically talked about how the apps really helped her de-stress and live in the present moment and have a cultivation of gratitude throughout her day. It's like a tool that really helps her that she uses daily. So those are just like 2 stories from student athletes that have been using the app. Yeah.
I mentioned before we started recording is I got a friend of mine that's now 93 years old, and he started doing meditation and helping people with bad habits. So whether they were overweight or they were smoking or they were drinking or depression, a multitude of different things. And he created a system where he used hypnotic meditation to help people punch through some of their challenges. And he's even gotten several well-known celebrities that he's helped with overcome some of their challenges or their kids' challenges. And I know who they are, but I'm going to just keep it quiet.
Yeah.
So the stuff works. I mean, it's very important. I had a challenge that I was dealing with, and he helped me visualize and understand why certain things were happening. And it was some stuff in the past because he would really dive back into someone's historical past and find that something happened at such and such an age, and you never let go. It carried on all the way through, and it's affecting you life today. That's something that happened 10, 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So what you guys have gotten done is now it's basically on the phone, and you got a situation, you can reach out and say, okay, I need, like you said earlier, I need to listen to before I get on a show to just get my mind in the right place. So that's a really powerful tool that you guys have created.
I really appreciate that. It means a lot coming from a guy like yourself.
You're welcome. You guys got a great tool. And like I say, I know a friend who's been doing it for decades, and he's been on TV where he's transformed people's lives. And that's what you guys are doing is you're giving a vehicle for somebody should they choose, because you still got to take action. You know, you can take the horse to the water and say, this is the water, but you can't make it drink it.
Yeah.
So here's the tap. Now you got to take action.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
So what was the biggest challenge that you guys went through to create and put this together and get it to the market? Because I'm sure our listeners, people that are thinking of creating an app, it's not as easy as it looks.
Yeah, there's a lot. One that comes to the top of my mind right away was me and Hampton obviously aren't comp-sci guys, don't know how to code. And finding developers at first, we were like, what are we going to do? Because we obviously can't build it, right? Or even if it was a possibility to use AI to create a meditation app because it hasn't been done before. But like I said, life's about relationships, and a really beautiful relationship kind of formed. Hampton and I took Spanish at Wake Forest, and we weren't very good at Spanish, to say the least. And then when he transferred to Georgetown, his credits didn't transfer over. He had to retake Spanish. So He's like an older guy taking Spanish, and this this man named Colin Graydon, he's a little bit older. He's 29. Came back from school, worked in the financial services industry for a couple of years, and was like really passionate about computer science. And he went and took that Spanish class. And in that class, Hampton and him formed a beautiful relationship. And Colin was the head of the computer science department at Georgetown. So Hampton basically pitched him the idea, and he was all for it. And he wanted to build that this summer. So finding those developers was a blessing in disguise, but a major challenge at first because we really had no idea what we were going to do. So yeah, life's all about relationships there. I think another really big challenge we had for us was obtaining a provisional patent. Yeah, that one was tough just because we didn't really want to talk about the idea to too many people early on just because of security and like the mentors that I did trust to talk to. And I really had no idea where to go. Called my dad and just asked him around, what would you do in this scenario? And it actually turns out like two of my neighbors are patent attorneys that I had no idea about, which was pretty awesome. So I met with them and they couldn't really help because they're not really in the AI sector per se. They were both in different fields. So it was a really long, daunting process of meeting with attorneys, one that was in our budget that we could actually afford. Because as you probably know, attorneys aren't cheap.
Nope.
Charge a lot by the hour for sure. But, just putting the nose to the grindstone, we were able to find a firm through the startup accelerator that was able to get us that provisional patent and another attorney that was able to trademark logos. But I think the major challenges early on were putting the pieces of the puzzle together. And most people would talk probably about funding and raising capital to start. We were really blessed early on that we didn't have to raise yet per se, but in May we are going to do our seed round of fundraising. So I'm sure a lot of fun times will come then.
Well, I've gone down that road and I've got over 3 decades in the SaaS world. So you could consider me one of the early guys. I got started in 1980, so that gives you a little bit of a heads up.
Yeah.
When it really began. And so I've seen a lot transform over the years. But the important part is the development team, because my now wife and we had a company several years ago, and we had a product, and we were talking to a patent attorney, and we got funding, and so went through all that aspect. And we hired an agency that felt and gave us a good presentation. However, they initially looked like they were doing the work. But as we got into it, it wasn't exactly what we wanted. We had a deadline of a trade show when we wanted to have it so that we could use it on iPads to ask people a questionnaire, and then basically would give a result. And they said, we didn't develop for iPads. We developed it for the Google platform. It's like, wait a minute, we talked about this before, and then it wasn't fully cooked. And we had given them several $1,000s, and we basically just pulled the plug with these guys. And that really screwed us up because that was our sales mechanism to attract people for the services that we wanted. It would search the internet, grab some information, and the goal was within a minute, it would give back a result. And then it was black and white. You need to either do something about this or live with the fact of this is the result you've got. Yeah. So you guys are really blessed, as you said, getting that from the first get-go, the right team, because that's everything.
It really is. We really did have so much guidance when we were talking to law firms. We had talked to 3, and then the third one really was the person. Was the team, and the guy that actually drafted it was a Wake Forest grad. He was an alumni. So we had a little synergy there because that's about to be my alma mater as well. Were you guys getting a provisional patent or utility patent?
We were getting a utility patent. I mean, we were going for the whole thing.
Yeah.
We had the idea. It was all drawn up. It was workable. We knew some competitors had something different, something similar, but we had a uniqueness, and we were patenting that uniqueness and a term with that uniqueness. And the attorney was reasonable, but the problem was we couldn't deliver on the product.
Let me ask you, it kind of just phased out, or did you
we ran out of money. We got to the point where we talked with the BlackRock group and, the big boys.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And they basically said, nice idea, but you're not asking for enough money, so we can't help you. And then my wife connected me with the guy that invented the gas station TVs, those TVs and the gas pumps. And he sold that for $250 million, and team created a VC company and was running around with Dan Gilbert, the founder of Quicken Loans. I emailed this guy. I got this actual email address. And you're talking stupid money, people. He emails back, and I'm like, holy moly. And he says, all right, I'm intrigued. Have my people look at it. And so a guy calls me in an hour and sets up a meeting. And I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah.
And liked the idea. But the bottom line was, I'll put it in English. Okay, finish building your boat. Show us that it can leave the dock on its own power. And we'd be happy to help you scale.
Yeah.
Well, nice, but I need the cash to finish building the boat, guys.
Yeah. Jeez.
So we ran out cash. You got to make a decision and go forward. But it was still a monster learning episode for us.
Sounds like it.
We talked about how you guys got started. Where do you see you guys going in the future?
Yeah, no, that's another really good question. I see us getting partnerships with a lot of universities, starting in North Carolina. We have a guy on the team at Ball State, obviously Georgetown. We want to target and really dominate the universities, helping these athletes get these subscriptions. And then from there, we eventually want to branch out. We don't want to send just to be like an app. We want to send to have different layers to it, right? I'm a Christian guy myself. I want to have an app under the Ascend brand for Christians. We want to have a workout app. There's a lot of different levels to it, to like the long-term vision. But as of right now, we're really toning in, targeting our niche, and then expanding to other forms, people that suffer from sleep, insomnia, and other forms of people that could really benefit from the app. But to answer your question, as a whole, I do see it really expanding and help getting into the hands of as many people as it possibly can to help them live happier, healthier lives. And right now, we're really just focusing on our niche, dominating that, and then expanding. Yeah, but to answer your question, I see it growing. I see it really expanding and really taking over the wellness game.
Yeah, the other thing I'm thinking is you guys could incorporate helping people create a growth plan. So in other words, there might be, I'm just spitballing an idea here, but incorporating a growth plan to where they can say, okay, like you're saying that your friend is going for NFL draft.
Yep.
But someone that's not been necessarily playing sports, I'm just thinking from a business perspective because I deal a lot with business people. Expand it once you get past your initial market is helping business owners deal with their business goals and the challenges of running a business and everything else. And then it's like a diary/journal.
Yeah.
And track your outcomes so that you can look back and says, wow, I was going through this period and, look, I punched through it.
Yep. It's funny you brought that up. I wasn't really going to talk about them just because they're not really finalized yet, but there are 2 new features that are going to be coming out in the next couple of months within the app once we do the complete rebuild. Because right now, our UI UX designer is completely redesigning the front end of the app just to make the user flow a lot easier and add animations, make it more of a premium app feel like a Calm, and then obviously hiring the voice actors and implementing their voices into the AI. But to answer your question, there are 2 features that one is very similar to a journaling feature that you just hit on that will be coming out, as well as another feature.
You don't need to share them.
Yeah, I was going to say they'll be shared for sure.
Yeah, that's fine. I say software's in my DNA today. I've been in it since it began. So I think of things, I see things. And it's good that you guys are really refreshing the interface because it's one of the things that I've always looked at in software platforms is ease of use, easy to figure out. And I've jet sent more software in my time that was cumbersome, wasn't updated regularly, and a pain and not easy to find information. Out the door and replaced it with something else. I mean, like that. Otherwise, you're spinning your wheels and you're getting frustrated and you're not accomplishing what the software is supposed to help you do.
100%. It's really well said.
Thank you. I would also incorporate a feedback loop and incorporate for a new feature list. So something that your customers can say, here's what we would like, and then you can turn around and have people vote on it. And then that in turn helps direct the product because now you're directing it not for what you think is wonderful and cool, because what you think is wonderful and cool, the rest of the gang may say, that sucks. That doesn't work. So now you become more focused on your audience and providing the tools that your audience seeks. And now you create a superfans following because, wow, these guys are actually taking our feedback. And more importantly, they're implementing it. They came out in this release and update. Hey, that's my idea.
Yeah. It's funny you actually said that because that's something we are working on is when you open the app and you sign up, a little checkbox where you can get emails from us. And within those emails, Hampton and I's calendar links are going to be at the bottom. So, customers or people that want to give feedback or meet with us one-on-one can actually sign up and meet. And we're just asking about what they like, what they don't like, what they want improved. But I do really like that idea of once we get that feedback from the customers, then making it into a voting system to see which ones really would hit the most.
Yeah, there's several of them online. Can't think of it right now, but you guys can research it to where you can have, so this is an interface section, this is in the meditation section, this is in this, and et cetera. And now people can suggest their ideas and then everybody can vote on it. Then more importantly, what's really important is letting people know that, okay, this is being looked at, it's being in progress, it's completed.
Love it. Yeah. Really, that's really good advice. I appreciate it.
Yeah. You're welcome. Because you've just empowered your user base.
100%. So they feel like they're a part of exactly.
That's how you create super fans, because now they're out promoting your app. Hey, this is a cool app. More importantly, they listen to their users. How many times have you dealt with businesses that don't listen to their customer base?
Too many times to count.
Point made.
Point made.
So, Walker, as we wrap up here, tell us where people can find the app, learn more about what you guys do.
Yeah, no, 100%. Obviously, check out our website. Can we just drop the link in the bio? Would that be easiest instead of just doing the...
I'll drop it in the show notes.
Sweet. And then if you want to reach out to me, it's Walker Ferguson at ascendmeditations.app. Obviously, love for everybody to try it out, all of your listeners. If you just search up on the App Store, Ascend Meditations, it will pop up. You can give it a download. And then all of our social medias are ascendapp.ai, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I'm always ready to chop it up with somebody and hear someone's story. So I really appreciate you having me on your show.
Walker, it's been a pleasure on the show. Congratulations on developing a really beneficial app for a lot of people, especially student athletes, which is your initial target market. But I see this going pretty big and going way beyond just student athletes, but helping people improve their lives and overcome their own challenges globally.
Awesome. I appreciate it. It means a lot.
Thank you much. And we look forward to having you down on the show down the road and see what's happening down the road.
Yeah, awesome. Look forward to it. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Business Superfans podcast. If you found today's conversation valuable, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave us a review, and share this episode with someone who could use these powerful insights to level up their business. Remember, creating business superfans isn't just about your customers. It's about fostering genuine, impactful connections across your entire business ecosystem. When you invest in those relationships, success doesn't just happen, it accelerates. Until next time, I'm your host, Freddy D. Let's keep building superfans, creating unstoppable momentum, and driving your business toward extraordinary success. See you in the next episode.
We hope you took away some useful knowledge from today's episode of the Business Superfans podcast. The path to success relies on taking action. So go over to businesssuperfans.com and get your hands on the book if you haven't already. Join the Accelerator community and take that first step in generating a team of passionate supporters for your business. Join us on the next episode as we continue guiding you on your journey to achieve flourishing success in business.